What's up, YouTube family? Welcome to Automotive Life. My name is Lucky, and today's video we're going to be talking about the used car market and why it's going insane right now. Now, I was supposed to do a video unveiling my new car, the most insane 4x4 ever, but unfortunately during this weekend we did some filming and I kind of screwed up the vehicle a little bit and messed up some filming, so we're going to go ahead and redo that. So we're going to bring you that video probably Wednesday, if not Friday, but that video is coming. But what I want to do is talk about what's going on in the used car market and why it's basically going nuts right now, and there's a lot of things that we can do to prevent that. But before I get into the video, if you could do me a huge favor and gently squeeze the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and also find more amazing people like yourselves that enjoy automotive content. Also, please consider subscribing. We post 3 times a week, so make sure you click the notification bell. And once again, follow us on Instagram at automotive.life. We post way more crazier stuff there, all of our auction feeds, us doing some of the off-road stuff that we did this weekend, plus we're going to SEMA, so we'll see you guys there. And anyways, without any more shameless plugging, let's get into the video. The used car market is insane right now, and there's a lot of factors that go into it. So we're going to start with one of the main driving things, which is supposedly lack of supply. Now, we talked about this probably about a month ago about how prices are going to start going down at the auction, and I get a lot of comments, oh, it's going up, you don't know what you're talking about, everything's going up. It's only going up because you are overpaying. So when I checked the auctions, it was about 1,500 cars per week, and then it jumped up to 2,000 cars. I think this week we got a little over 4,000 cars. So the supply is slowly coming back. A lot of the moratoriums on repos and stuff like that are basically doubling. So one of the title loan companies that I work with here in Las Vegas, their repos are pretty much quadrupled. So they did not repo hardly anything in, I think it was August and September. They were only repoing about 40 to 50 cars. Last month they did about 100. This month they're on pace to do November. They want to do at least 150 repos. So little by little, a lot of these banks and other companies are going to start repoing more, which is going to mean more supply. And when the supply starts building, demand should go down. But it's not. These dealers, and I'm telling you guys, if you work together, you can actually lower the prices. We literally just had this happen here in Vegas, where a lot of dealers got so sick of, I won't mention the bank's name, but they want they want retail for every single car that goes through the lane. So all of us just sat there like this with our arms crossed and waited. 5 cars went through, not a single bid. Finally, the guy was like, oh, come on, give us a bid, whatever else. And we all stopped at MMR. And that's what you're supposed to do. If you don't go over that, if it's something special, it's lifted, it's got a turbo on it, you want to go a few dollars over MMR, that's fine. Don't go over MMR. And it was kind of funny because as we did that, we saw the banker's face completely change. He was all excited and like, oh, I'm going to get all the money for these cars. I'm going to look like a stud to my bank. And then when we sat there with our arms crossed, it literally was like a silent fenced wall where we're like, hey, we're not overpaying anymore. We're done with this. And so little by little, the guys started, okay, well, we'll let this one roll. We'll let this one roll. Now, if we can do that with all the dealers in Las Vegas or all the dealers across the United States, that would be a huge thing, because the biggest thing on why the prices are driving up is the idiots at the auction. Now, you can say it's healthy competition and you still got to make money. No, you don't. I keep telling you guys, if you just have 10 cars on your lot, but you're grossing good money on those 10 cars, I'd rather have you do that than have 25, 30 cars and your margins are so thin by the time you pay the bank fees, it just gets nuts. So, when you get together, try to do that. Talk to your friends, talk to other dealers. Even if you don't like them, say, no, we're not going to pay these prices, and just wait. And I'm telling you, if you get literally 10 or 15 of you guys and you're all standing in line and you're sitting in front of the auctioneer and you're just staring at him while he's bidding out prices and nobody bids, that is a huge message that and it will be received, because the bankers will freak out. And then all you got to do is just 1 or 2 you guys say, we're not going to pay these prices anymore. It's ridiculous. Sales are slowing down, but you guys still want over market pricing? Hell no, I'm not going to be stuck with this car in December with, $4 grand over MMR. And I promise you it'll change. But like I said, the supply is coming back, so the demand should be slowly dwindling. So right now is a crucial time where you do not need to overpay for cars, because like I said, prices will start trickling down, but demand is, I've seen a lot of my friends like, oh, well, we're doing good. We got 60 cars on the lot. And I was like, remember when you only had 20? Yeah. I was like, why do you think you have 60 now? I was like, because the demand is gone. A lot of these people, all the stimulus ballers and everybody else, they don't have the money. And then on top of that, a lot of the banks, which we're going to talk to next, are starting to change their lending criteria because they know what's coming. So if you're a dealer, I'm telling you right now, please do not get stuck with this overpriced inventory as we roll into the winter months. Because as you guys know, this is our slowest time, and this is when there's a lot of dealers that go out of business because their floor plans or their lines of credit are so freaking high, and they got a bunch of overpriced crap that they can't sell. And remember, as that book drops, you owe more and more on that car, plus with the fees and interest from your flooring line, you're not going to be able to finance it unless you get a big down payment, which those people right now don't have it. And most people during the holiday season don't want to buy cars. They want to spend money on travel, buy gifts for their family. So it's very, very important that you go into this holiday season with as thin as inventory as you possibly can. You know, have at least a few there just to, you know, maybe luck out a few sales and to pay your employees. But don't stock up until after January, because I know a lot of people are going to be in pain when it comes to this holiday season, because I've already got a few dealers that are having issues with their flooring lines because they can't sell. Like they're buying overpriced crap, but then when they try to sell it, the banks won't give them the extra money, and the people don't have the big downs like they used to compensate for that overprice. And so now it's just like the housing market. People are freaking out. It's slowing down little by little. So make sure you pay attention to that and don't fall into that pitfall. Now, the next one we're going to be talking about are the banks. So a lot of the banking institutions that we do business with are talking about changing their guidelines for lending because of what they know what's going to go on. There are a record amount of people that are not going back to work. There are a lot of people that are no longer getting stimulus or unemployment or anything else like that. And they start to see it as record high defaults here very soon. Now their numbers are slowly ticking up for repos as their amount of loans are going down and down, are going higher and higher because people don't have the big down payments. So they see a big offsite of risk. Now, banks, when they see risk, they get scared and they always compensate for one thing or the other. So what's going to happen is now that the repos are going up and their average loan is going up because people can't afford the big down payments, they're going to start requesting to do lower amounts of lending. So if their normal amount of lending was $25,000, $30,000, they're probably going to drop that to $15,000 to $20,000 just to kind of hedge their bet, make sure that they're in there. And then on top of that, they're probably going to ask for about 15 to 35% down, which unfortunately in this economy, there's not a lot of people that have that. So what it's going to do, it's going to start this cycle of slowing down when it comes to lending. So as an independent dealer and even as a franchise dealer, you know, it's going to be a little bit tougher to get people done. And they're going to be asking for stips out of the wazoo. They're going to literally be like, I want to see multiple bank statements, even though you have pay stubs. They're going to want to see proof of residence, and they want multiple things: phone bills, power bills, leases, whatever else. You know, every car is probably going to come with a GPS now, whether you're a prime, subprime, whatever else. They're going to whack you on that one and charge you for that as well. And, you know, they're really going to critique the paperwork because right now there's an all-time high with fraud when it comes to stips. So like I said, the banks are so worried about the risk that they're doing as much as they can to mitigate it. So we have the interest rates, what they're going to be ticking up because of the default rate. They're going to have the lending amounts going down because of, once again, they don't want to have too much money out there. Plus with the tightened criteria of lending, you know, like one of my banks, they used to have 90 days and they can finance you. Now they bumped it up to 6 months. So you cannot even go there unless you've been employed for 6 months. But as you guys know, a lot of people have been back and forth with their jobs because of, you know, the current pandemic. And so now they can't, you know, qualify for that type of funding. So like, oh, I just went back to work like 3 months ago. Oh, you don't have 6 months of consecutive work. You don't qualify for financing. So even though this guy may have a 650 credit score and he'd be perfect for a mid-prime to subprime bank, they will not actually do business with him because of that particular reason. So these are the little things that are going to start adding up to slowing down our economy or our industry in the automotive world. So if we keep overpaying for cars and these banks keep lending less and less, the demand is just slowly going to go down. And as you guys have kind of seen in the housing market, if you watch any of my videos or some of YouTube, it's cooling down a lot, especially here in Vegas. Before I actually bought my Audi R8, I tried to buy a house and I made 10 offers on a handful of houses here in Vegas, and the real estate agents were just complete, I'm not even gonna joke, they're just idiots. They were, oh, this is a seller's market, you're gonna have to pay way over retail if you want this house. I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. I made several offers on really good, I believe competitive rates and competitive bids and offers, and they turned me down. And every single house that I made a bid on, I just saw their price reduced. One of them got reduced twice. So the market is cooling down when it comes to real estate, and usually automotive kind of follows right behind it. This whole mystique of, oh, well, it's a chip shortage, that's what's causing the industry. No, it's a bunch of idiots overpaying at the auction. It's a bunch of people that are overlending because the banks just want to ride that wave too, because they got that free stimulus money, so they're just lending out money. And then now, like I said, as the money shrinks and demand is starting to pile up, you're going to see the market completely change and do a dip. So you don't want to be caught on that wave. And as when it comes to the banks, you're going to see this. Your bank rep's going to call you. And all of a sudden, that normal thing where you sell a $15,000 car and you have maybe a $1,200 to $1,500 fee, get ready. That thing's probably going to double, if not triple. It's insane. We just set up another dealer in Texas, and we were going over Westlake. And every deal we put in there, our average fee was like $2,200 to $2,500, which is unheard of for Texas. Texas, you guys usually have like $600 to $800 fees. Vegas, we're used to people with crappy credit that gamble and drink all the time, but in Texas, no. So when we were submitting deals to the banks, the fees were crazy. They had 3, 4, 5 payment recourses on some of the deals because they wanted you to be married with them because they don't trust the people. And that's what's going to happen to the banks. And so that trickle-on effect is going to basically just kind of wipe out our market. Now, next we're going to go to the consumers. Now, consumers, like I said, they're not dumb. They're getting smarter. They got all these websites that tell them the lowest price, and all they care about is getting the lowest price. The downfall with that is that you got all these people coming in with horrible credit, no money down, and they want the lowest price possible. Now, right now, dealers have been kind of lucky. They were able to bully the customers. Hey, look, this is the economy. I can't get another car to replace it. You're going to have to pay full retail. And so a lot of the consumers have been used to this, but as they start to see, like, there's dealers now reaching out to customers, calling them, saying if they'd like to come in and back and buy a car, and now they're starting to do deals, and that's another trigger letting me know that it's actually getting more affordable. I have a friend here that works at a local Dodge dealership, and they have literally, I think it's 300 trucks in stock. Now that's unheard of. Nobody has trucks in stock because they just blew out, and they were so firm, like I won't say the owner's name or the company, but the owner is kind of just a moron. He's like, I want, way over, I think it was like $10,000, $20,000 over MSRP, or he's not going to get rid of these trucks. Well, now we're going into the slow season. He's not getting out-of-state calls like he used to. He's not getting a lot of the local people that want to, that are going to overpay. So now he's got all these brand new trucks just sitting there that he wanted to get top dollar for that he can't get anymore. So now they're calling people back that they basically told them to go pound sand and say, hey, I know you looked at our Dodge and we were trying to get you $20,000 over MSRP. How about you settle for 10? How about you settle for 5? How about we sell to you at MSRP? And now they're starting to sell some of those trucks, but he was telling me that it was a frenzy. They couldn't keep a truck on the lot, and so they put a large allocation order in from another dealer in the Midwest to take all their inventory to bring it here, and now they're stuck with it. So little things that we're seeing is slowly letting us know that the market is changing. And like I said, the consumers are getting smarter. But the other thing about consumers is, like I said, now we have people that are in and out of jobs. We have the Great Resignation, which we went over in a few videos, where a lot of people are not going back to work. They're not. They're either got a side hustle, they're living off of maybe their savings or their stimulus. They're just hanging out, relaxing. I have a lot of friends here in Vegas that literally collected that $4,000 a month, moved in with their family, and just stockpiled their money, and now their whole goal is not to work until 2022, the end of that, or 2023. They just want to take a year off, travel, and relax. And so it's causing this ripple effect in the job market where people they just don't want to work. Flat out. They just don't want to. They don't care. So the banks are going to get even more stringent when it comes to lending. The consumer is going to be basically more relaxed because they don't really care. And you got these other group of people that are just not buying cars. Now, I know they say millennials are not buying cars, which most of us, I believe almost everybody I know has a car. There are some downtown metropolitan areas where you don't really need a car, like if you're in New York and stuff like that with transit, but there still are Uber, Lyft drivers and stuff like that are purchasing cars that are kind of flowing that market. But it's just very interesting to see. We're at this crazy time where we have all-time highs with pricing, all-time lows with supply, banks being loose with their money, the government just printing out money like it's just free, and inflation is going nuts. We have a false sense of value when it comes to vehicles, because even nowadays when I go to the auction, I'll look at a car and I never have to use my scanner. I know the prices. I'm like, oh, that's a $12,000 car. That's a $37,000 car. But now I can't do that because the prices are so overinflated. It's ridiculous. I'll be like, oh yeah, that's a $12,000 car. Oh, it just sold for $18,000. I'm like, what? $5,000 over MSR or MMR? I was like, no freaking way. And there's people out there doing it. So the last part we're going to talk about are dealer associations. Now, every state has a dealer association. It's a group of dealers that get together that share ideas, share vendors, help teach each other, and go as a group. Now, this is something I strongly encourage from everybody. I'm actually trying to get the dealers union or dealers group here in Las Vegas, because when you're part of a dealer union, you work with banks, you negotiate with banks, you negotiate with vendors, you deal with lawmakers, all this other stuff, and it benefits the good of the group. Now, a dealer's union is really great because, like I said, if you're a new dealer and you don't know a lot of the things in the industry, you could team up with somebody that's experienced, that maybe knows a little bit more than you, that can kind of teach you the ropes. This is the way it used to be back in the day. Us dealers were not cutthroat. We weren't backstabbing bastards that hated each other. It needs to go back to this. You guys got to put your petty stuff away. You're not smarter and better than any other dealer. Chill out, pump the brakes. Help your fellow dealer, they will help you. So the dealers union, the reason why I'm going to tell you it's so important, one, is just like we talked about the auction. If you guys band together, if you literally, the dealers union goes to, I've seen it happen in different states, the dealers union will go to like Adesa or Mannheim and say, hey look, these prices are crazy. You know what? All of our dealers, we're not going to buy from you unless you actually, give us a flat rate and no more of these CR fees and extra fees and storage fees and this fee and this fee and this fee. And you can push your power. Now, this only works if you have a large group. So if your dealer union has 10 dealers, they don't care. But if your dealers union has 100 dealers and you all band together and literally boycott that, all of a sudden what happens? Mannheim and Adesa, okay. Everybody that's part of the dealers union, we'll do a new deal with you guys. We'll only charge you X amount of percent. And I've seen this in other states. They don't talk about it because they don't want you to know about it. But that's the power of the dealers union. Same thing when it comes to lending in your state. Now, there's a lot of, like here in Nevada, they took a lot of like fun stuff away we used to do as dealers. Like we used to charge maybe higher interest rates. We used to charge higher fees. We had more released or relaxed buying. We had more relaxed financing. But what happens is the lawmakers come up and they have nobody to challenge them. There's no dealers union. So the lawmakers like, you know what? Predatory lending's bad. No interest over 20%. And so now all the banks in your state are like, well, we can't make money. It's not worth the risk. And they leave. And that's exactly what happened here to Vegas. A lot of the dealers left Vegas because they couldn't offset their risk with the higher interest. So you as a dealers union, you get notified by your politicians and you go up there and you lobby for the, hey, this is bullshit. This is why it's all part of risk, blah, blah, blah. And you can explain that to your people so you have a fighting chance for your industry. But once again, it only works if you have a dealers union. Next one is banks. Banks are a huge one because when you are part of a dealers union, a lot of times when you first sign up and you're a newbie and you don't have anybody and you don't know any banks, because I get most of the messages like, how do I get banks? How do I do funding? Your dealer's union. You sign up and then the first thing they do, they hand you a welcome packet. Oh, welcome to being a dealer in the state of California. Here you go. And then it has like 30 different banks. You call those banks, yeah, I'm part of the dealer's union. Can you come sign me up? They sign you up and then hopefully they have some sort of agreement where, your fees don't go over an absorbent amount of money. Because I've seen that happen with a few local banks here in Vegas where, they just like, well, Lobel's charging an extra $500, so I'm going to charge it. CIG jumps on, Nationwide jumps on, Westlake jumps on. So everybody's like, well, across the board, we're going to raise our fees $500. And nobody cares because nobody's there to combat it. Where in different states like South Carolina, Florida, I've seen them where they literally said, no. If you want our business, you're going to have to do this, this, and this. And if you raise fees, you need to let us know about it and we're going to vote. And then I've seen them where they'll starve out a bank. And that's the only way these banks will notice is if you literally say, you know what? Nobody send a deal to this particular bank. And that is power. And they will freak out when that happens because now they're going to be like, oh my God, we need 300 deals a month and we only got 20. What's going on? Oh, none of the dealers are sending it to us because they raised our fees. Everything just kept adding up and up and up and it's not worth it. So if you are a dealer, whether you're old, new, in the middle, it does not matter. Band together with your other fellow dealers and sign up for a dealers union. If you don't have one, it doesn't cost that much. You can call the National Association. It's you need 10, I think it's 10 board members Each of you guys pay 175 bucks a year, and boom, now you're a dealers union. Now you have the power to go fight in Congress for your rights. You have the power to go talk to auctions to fight for lower fees, and you also have the power to go deal with other banks. So some of these things are very important. So make sure you look out for that and definitely sign up, especially if you're a new dealer. A lot of the stuff that we preach is to help people. And so if you are a new dealer, I definitely recommend going with there. A lot of times they'll assign you kind of like a big brother, somebody to kind of help show you the ropes, because a lot of our teaching and consulting is to give you the basic business plans and principles on how to run your business. But when it comes to little specifics in state and county industries, you're going to learn so much more when it comes to that when you have like a big brother when it comes to your actual dealership. So the dealers union usually do that. They'll assign you somebody that's been in your area for a while that can help teach you the local ropes. And that's very crucial and important for some of the things, whether it comes for lending, some of the paper and laws that you guys have, because every state's a little bit different. And even that some counties and states or cities even have different little bylaws in their paperwork. So it's good to know that from a local person that knows your area. But anyways, if you guys could do me a huge favor and gently squeeze the like button, I truly appreciate it. If you learned anything, if you have any comments, please put them in the comment section below. Like I said, I answer every single one myself, none of my staff, just me. And please consider subscribing, because like I said, we are posting 3 times a week. So make sure you click the notification bell. And once again, follow us on Instagram at automotive.life. We post great stuff there all the time. And we'll see you guys Wednesday. Have a good one.